welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Nguyen, and in today's video I'll be giving you guys a little story time about my experience post-graduation from nursing school, as well as how I just recently passed my Nclex with minimal studying. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So just a little backstory. I went to the University of Memphis for my bachelor's in nursing. I was at the main campus, Lowenberg College of Nursing, and it was the best but also the worst 2.5 years of my academic experience. Anyone that's been in nursing school or know of someone in nursing school, you probably heard the same thing, just because nursing school was very hard, and I was fortunate enough to make it all the way through and graduate this past May 8th to be exact. And on the day of my graduation, I packed up the rest of the things that I had left to my name and drove in a U-Haul with my boyfriend to Columbus, Ohio, and that was my official move from Memphis. Prior to actually graduating, I had already started the process of trying to register for my Nclex exam. So Nclex is a national licensure exam for all nurses across the United States, and it's an exam that you are preparing for throughout your whole duration of nursing school. So how Nclex works is it's actually administered by a company called Pearson VUE, which is who you submit your payment for and register for when you're preparing to sit for Nclex. I think as early as February, I was already beginning the process of registering for my Nclex, because it's not just as simple as registering and paying $200. So I started that process early on for the state of Ohio, just to kind of alleviate some stress on me. I did it so early on into my final semester that I kind of just didn't have to worry about it anymore, because after you finish that process, after you submit all the documents and pay for your registration fee, at that point you have to wait until you graduate in order to sit for the Nclex. I basically didn't have anything left to do as far as the licensure part of it. So on the front end, it was very smooth and everything was pretty much taken care of. You just have to sit and wait for the state to approve you, and once the state approves you, they notify Pearson VUE, and Pearson VUE sends out something called an ATT, or authorization to test, and that basically lets you schedule for your exam. So that's kind of the process of how you set up your Nclex. And like I said, everything I did on the front end was very smooth. I basically took care of everything, and by the time that I was actually moving and leaving Memphis, I had already secured a nursing fellowship job in the ICU, and I pretty much took care of everything for Nclex, minus the fact that they need official transcript, which your advisor at your nursing school sends off after you graduate. So when I graduated from nursing school, my expectation was that I was going to give myself maybe a month to prepare for Nclex and schedule my Nclex within that time frame outside of 1 month. At the time, my plan was to schedule my test for June. And like I said, I graduated May 8th. So I thought that surely I would get my ATT by the end of May, and surely I can schedule for my exam in June, and surely I can start my nursing fellowship job in July, like I had anticipated and was already scheduled to start. Honestly, right after graduation, I did not study the whole month of May, just because I really wanted a break from nursing school. The final semester really kicked my butt because I was working like 5, 12, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in a row, on top of studying and trying to pass my exit exam. So I was pretty much fed up with nursing, and so I was just happy to be able to take a break. I left my nursing job in the emergency department on April 1st, and then my last 12-hour clinical was April 9th. So from April 9th to May 8th, I was just utilizing the last bit of motivation and energy and brain cells that I had in order to study for my exit exam and finish up loose ends like projects, things like that in nursing school. So I was happy that I didn't have to work in the hospital anytime soon, because like I said, I was working 5 days, and I was only getting compensated for 3 of those days because that was for my job, and then I had to do 24 hours of clinical every week for nursing school. So I was working 60 hours a week in my final semester. Don't ask me how I did it, because I don't know. I didn't have a choice. So I guess when you don't have a choice, you just gotta do what you gotta do. I don't even know how I did that, but I did it somehow. May went by. When June started, I still did not have my ATT, and so I was just kind of basically sporadically studying. I was studying, but not anything super intense or anything. Like, I was listening to the Mark Clemic audio and I was taking UWorld practice questions. I wasn't taking notes. I wasn't doing anything outside of that because I was still waiting for my ATT. So I just didn't have like that motivation to really buckle down and study because I was just like, oh, well, I still don't have my ATT. So why would I buckle down and study right now? July comes around, I still don't have my ATT. So at this point, my start date had to get pushed back because for the job that I took, I needed to be licensed a week before my start date. So at that point, my start date started getting pushed back. We fast forward to August, still no ATT, okay? So I was getting so frustrated because my start date was getting pushed back over and over and over again. By July and August, July, I did not do very much studying at all. August, I started sporadically studying again. At that point, I was extremely frustrated, extremely impatient, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I was like, you know what, let me buckle down, try to study, and that way, when I do get my ATT, I don't have to get ready, I'll already be ready. But that didn't really go how I planned in my head because I just was not motivated. I was simply lazy, lacked discipline by all means. I just didn't feel like sitting down and studying hardcore. I just listened to more Mark Clemic videos and I just took UWorld questions here and there. I was getting so annoyed because I kept having to extend my UWorld. Every time I would extend it, I would extend it for like 30 days and then I'll be like, shoot, like I still don't have my ATT, still not testing, let me extend it again. There was even a point in time when I started to do the Nclex process for Tennessee instead of Ohio because Ohio Board of Nursing was taking so long. There was like no means to contact them. Like you could email them and they were not going to answer. I just got like an automated email. And then when you try to call the number, it was like, oh, all their people were going to be out of office until October and they're working from home. And I was just like, working from home? They acting like they're not working at all because what is the holdup? You know what I mean? So I started the process for Tennessee since I still had like a Tennessee driver's license and a address for Tennessee, hoping that maybe I could get into Tennessee a little bit quicker and then just transfer my license or something. Because I was just like so desperate trying to do anything just to hurry up and get licensed because I was just like, oh my gosh, like before the summer was even over, like all my peers, like my close friends, like they had already taken their Nclex, passed, and started their job. Meanwhile, I'm like stuck with just a nursing degree, which isn't anything unless you have your license. So I was basically just degreed but couldn't work. During the meantime, I was working at a nail salon because that was what I used to do just from high school until my senior year of nursing school because I started working in the hospital. So I basically went back to the nail shop just to have a means of income because there was no way I could have just sat all those months unemployed. I actually got a nail shop job by the end of May. It was a great way for me not only to make money, but to also get to know some people here in Columbus because I didn't know anyone outside of my boyfriend. Kind of get in with my culture because I am half Vietnamese. So it was just cool to, you know, make some connections in the Vietnamese community here in Columbus because everyone and everything that I know was Memphis, Tennessee. So it was a quick way for me to get into something familiar while I waited for my ATT. So like I said, I started the process for Tennessee, which that ended up just being like me shooting myself in the foot because Tennessee was also taking its little time. By the time that I actually got my ATT for Ohio, I still had not gotten my ATT for Tennessee. So it was just like I literally spent extra money for no reason because I had to spend money to get my fingerprints again, and I also had to spend like $50 to switch jurisdiction from Ohio to Tennessee for Pearson VUE. So I ended up having to switch my Pearson VUE jurisdiction back to Ohio and spend another $50. I finally got my ATT for Ohio in October. So as soon as I got my ATT, what I did was I scheduled myself out like 2 weeks, and I was gonna give myself that 2 weeks to really study. First week, I was still working, so I was just coming home and taking practice questions on UWorld. Second week, I took off the entire week thinking that I'm finna just study so hard. Girl, when I tell you, I don't know what was wrong with me. You would think that since my exam was just this past Monday, so Monday the 15th, that's why I was late uploading. But anyway, this past Monday the 15th, I scheduled my exam for 8 a.m. because that was the only thing available in November. I was lucky enough to be able to snag that date. So you would think that since I'm a week out from taking this super big important test that I would, you know, basically buckle down and really get into it and study and try my best to prepare. That is not what happened. And I do not promote this whatsoever. That is not my advice for anyone to go about it the way I did, because I don't know, I might just be a special case, but honestly, it just felt like nursing school 2.0 for me, because I was just like, wow, like this is so like me to wait last minute. That's how I was in nursing school. I was known amongst my friends to always be the last to start preparing for an exam or start studying. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just I do better under pressure or what. The whole week that I was off, I didn't even study every single day. I honestly was struggling to force myself to study. I pretty much focused primarily for at least a couple of days on OB and peds, and I was basically just typing up the Mark Clinic notes, and then I was taking UWorld questions. I kept doing really bad on my UWorld questions. Like, I didn't know if it was just me being tired, me not really taking my time with the questions, but I just remember that earlier in the summer when I would take the practice questions on UWorld, I was doing a lot better. I was doing like 80%, 90%, and then for some reason with the newer tests that I was like creating right before my Nclex, and I was like not even hitting the average. So that basically made me super nervous, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not even hitting the average on UWorld. Honestly, truthfully, I didn't start buckling down and studying until Saturday. The Saturday before my Nclex was when I actually like buckled down, was trying to read through my notes, trying to take practice questions, and that's all I had the time to do. Because like I said, I was taking notes from the Mark Clinic stuff, but that was taking some time, and so by Sunday, I didn't have time to listen to any lectures, to try to type up any notes, to do anything. So I was just like, at this point, I'm just gonna read everything that I have so far, like Mark Clinic plus my UWorld questions. So with the UWorld questions, when I would review them, I would type up rationales for the questions that I got wrong. Just something brief, like a summary, to remind myself of the question and just kind of like refresh myself on that content. And I would even type up notes, even if I got the question right, I would type up notes if I knew that it was something like I just got lucky, or if it was something I knew I wasn't super familiar with the content, I would type up just a little summary of the UWorld question. So I did that, and I also had my notes from Mark Clinic, and so by Sunday, the only thing I had time to do was to literally read over and practice these questions. So I started at like 5 in the afternoon on Sunday. I finally was like, let me sit down and like study this little last bit for Nclex. And so I'm sitting down, and next thing you know, it's like 10 o'clock, just like that. My brain was so fried, and I just like couldn't do anymore. Like I had this whole list of plans of how I was gonna like read notes, then take a 50-question test, then read the rationales, then take another 50-question test, and then read notes again, and then take the assessment. And like, I don't even think I did everything on my little list, because it was just, time was flying from me. And so next thing I know, it's like 1 a.m. and I'm taking the freaking last assessment that I have on UWorld. Compared to everyone I know, like all my friends, they did intense studying for like months or at least weeks before they took their Nclex. And here I am, literally doing the bare minimum, coming in just like barely even wanting to study the weekend before, and I'm scrambling to try to like put everything in my head. I'm trying to hype myself up like, girl, you know so much, you're so smart, you are a good test taker. All my friends kept telling me I'm a good test taker. They're like, girl, like, you know, we already know how you are. Like, I really work best under pressure, but that pressure the day before my Nclex was like no joke. Like, I was like gonna hyperventilate. I mean, failing, okay, let's just get this out the way. Failing your Nclex is not abnormal. Like, a lot of people fail their first attempt. There's nothing wrong with it. It happens because the test is so freaking hard. It's a computer adaptive test, for crying out loud. So you never know what you're gonna get, and you don't know what the course of your exam is gonna go like. Everybody exam is different, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. But for me, I was more so feeling a lot of pressure to pass because so much time had passed. Like, I had been waiting since May, and it's freaking November. So, and hello, like, I graduated in May and it's freaking November. Like, there's gonna be a whole nother cohort before I even take my Nclex. So I just felt immense pressure on me because of how much time had passed and because of how many people were involved. Like, all my friends have been waiting. everyone I worked with at the nail shop were like asking me every week about my Nclex. I took off work for an entire week, and then also having a job lined up put even more pressure on me, because if I failed, that would be another setback on top of the biggest setback I've already been experiencing. So I just felt a lot of pressure all around me to pass, because I was just like, how embarrassing would it be that it's been this long and I failed when I probably should have been the most prepared considering how much time I had. You know, so I was just like, I cannot fail. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot fail. Like, I would just cry. But I was telling myself, I'm not even gonna lie, the day before my Nclex, I was even telling myself, I'm just like, look, there's a chance I might fail, and I'm not even gonna be surprised if I do. So as my last attempt to like hype myself up to make myself feel better, I took my final assessment, and I was telling myself, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a sign, like whatever this says, because it was 100 questions. I was like, okay, this is gonna be my sign, like how I should feel about tomorrow. And literally it said borderline passing. Like that was my probability of passing Nclex. That is not what you want to hear 7 hours before your test. Like, I was just like, you know what? I was so tired. It was like 3 a.m. by the time that I finished that 100 question exam. So I got like 2 hours of sleep the night before my Nclex, because I woke right back up at like 6 a.m. to make myself breakfast and to drive out there early, because you do have to show up a little bit early for them to get everything together, I guess. When I woke up, I had a plan that I was going to like study some more. But I pretty much almost nearly pulled an all-nighter just to study. So when I woke up, I did not study anymore. Like, I basically was just like, I'm tired. I don't even want to max out any brain capacity I could possibly have right now, because I'm about to take my exam in a couple of hours. So I just focused on taking care of my physiological needs. You know, they love that word. I took a shower, ate, drove out there early, made sure I wore really comfortable clothes. Like, I wore sweats and a crew neck long sleeve sweater, like not necessarily a hoodie, because I don't think they let you wear hoodies. I'm not really a big breakfast person, but I did make sure I ate something. I ate like oatmeal and some bacon, and I stayed away from the coffee just in case it makes me go. So I didn't drink any coffee or anything, just water. I show up to the testing site, and I'm just like so nervous. I took a snap before I went in, like, and I remember just like praying. I was like, God, like, I might not even deserve it, but please, like, let me end this chapter of my life. Like, let's close this door so we can open up the next door, because I am so tired of being set back. Like, I felt like I had the worst transition post-graduation from nursing school. And I mean, that might be an exaggeration, but it felt like I had been going through the most, because this past summer of 2021 was like not very friendly to me. And so I was just going through a lot of stuff in my personal life, and I was literally shedding a couple tears prior to going to my test, because I was just like, I've been through so much. If I'm meant to be a nurse, like, please, like, just get me through this exam. Like, let me take my time. I put all my things in a locker. They gave me noise cancellation headphones, and they told me that I was actually going to be recorded because I was taking the Nclex. And I was just like, okay, cool. I go down and sit and take my Nclex, and this is a trick that I've always used. A nurse told me about this trick one day in the nail shop when I was doing her pedicure years ago. She told me that the best test taking strategy that she had was to actually read the answers first and then look at your questions. So ever since this random nurse, I think she was a traveling nurse, and she was in Memphis, ever since I did her pedicure and she gave me that gem of advice, I literally been doing it ever since in nursing school pretty much. When my Nclex popped up, that's the same strategy I used, and pretty much like 8 out of 10 times when I would do that, just reading the answer choices, you can already tell what kind of question they're asking you based on the answer choices. So I went in with that one test taking strategy, and I had all 145 questions, which Mark Clement told you don't expect 75, but in my heart, I really wanted 75, because I was just like, I don't want to sit here forever. I'm not even a morning person, but the slots for like 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. were out in December. So I was like, okay, I can't wait that long, but I'm taking this test. And I just remember when it went from 75 to 76, I was like, dang, fuck. I had a friend who got cut off at 85, and so when I went from 85 to 86, I was like, damn. Okay, and then when I got to 100, I was like, all right, we're taking all 145. I already know it. It took me almost 3 hours to finish the exam, which I think is pretty good timing for 145 questions. I was trying my best not to clock out mentally because I honestly really wanted to after 100, because I was like, oh my gosh, my brain, like, it was a good bit of select all, and there was definitely things that I've never seen before on there. But the screen cut off, I was just like, okay, there we go, there we have it. And I left and I was still nervous. I'm talking about, like, I was jittery when I left. Like, I was like shaking. Oh, I'm so nervous because everyone pretty much knows there's like this little trick that you can do on Pearson VUE to see if you passed. So the trick is you go onto Pearson VUE and pretend as if you're scheduling for Nclex again. So you go all the way through, like even put in your card information, but I think my friend told me make sure your expiration date is off or something. That way they don't really take your money. You're just trying to check, you know? But when you click submit, if it pops up something along the lines of like, our records already indicate that you have this exam scheduled, something along those lines where they're not going to let you schedule, then that is your green light to know that you passed. So I was so nervous. I didn't even want to do that. It took me like several hours before I had the nerve and before my boyfriend was like, come on, let's check it, to actually do it. So I did it on my phone. I got the good pop-up, and I literally, like, I had a couple of tears come out because I was just like, oh my gosh, like I was in shock. Like, how did I put this? I was shocked, but I wasn't, but I was. I was shocked because of how minimally prepared I felt. Because like I said, even though I did have all those sporadic studying throughout the months, it was nothing super organized or planned out. I just felt like I didn't deserve to pass because I didn't have an organized flow, or I just felt like I wasn't doing all these other things like everyone else was doing. And so a part of me felt shocked because I didn't feel like I deserved to have passed because I didn't prepare like everybody else. I personally just felt like I didn't go through everything like I was supposed to, like everything in adult health, everything in psych, everything in OB. I just literally had the basics. And you know, there's that saying like in nursing school, people say to lies like, you know a lot more than you don't know, which is true, but I was so nervous. I was like, shoot, what if I don't know anything? Like, I don't know. I've just been out of the hospital for so long. I've been out of school for so long. But I wasn't shocked because I also knew that, okay, like, I've taken some pretty hard exams in nursing school. And I've gone through all of them. And I had always been the one to prepare last and to pull all-nighters and take an exam when I haven't slept all night. Like, I was that type of nursing student, known for that, because I just had too much going on. So my whole life was not all nursing school. So with that, I felt somewhat confident in knowing that, like, okay, you are a good test taker. You made it through nursing school. You can make it through this last exam. But of course, there was still a lot of pressure because this exam not only is make or break, but has a chance to either make you feel like, oh, nursing school was so worth it, versus I'm a failure and I just went through all that for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, that's the two moods you have based on your result. And that's how I would have responded anyway. So I was just super happy, to say the least. Besides, you know, feeling like I didn't deserve it, besides feeling so nervous and everything, my primary emotion was happiness, because I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord Jesus. I was like, God is so good. Like, there's no way, like, no way that was just all me. You know what I mean? I had been through a storm just for months prior, and I feel like finally, with me starting to get my ATT, that was like finally me beginning to like come out of that storm and walk into the next door for me, because I just felt so stuck, so stagnant, because everyone around me, all my friends and stuff, sorry, I'm not trying to cry because I don't want to mess up my makeup, but I literally was questioning whether or not I was meant to be a nurse, because I didn't understand why I had to wait so long, or I didn't understand why nothing was working out the way that I wanted. And so to see the result and to finally be able to move forward in my nursing career, it just made me really, really happy, because even though I was really, really thankful to had a job doing nails, like doing nails for me has just always, I always envisioned it as it was my main hustle until it could be my side hustle. But I was just so over doing nails, so I was really not my happiest working, doing nails, because I felt like I was burned out from it. The only thing that keeps me doing nails is not only when I have no other source of income, but because I grew up in the nail shop world, I grew up in the nail life. My mom owned her own salon when I was growing up, and I lost her when I was a freshman in high school. So sometimes doing nails for me makes me not only feel connected to her, but to my culture and like my people and stuff like that. But I did go to nursing school for a reason, and I wanted to become a nurse like since I was 13. That's what I told my mom before she passed, and I was just super fortunate to have a straightforward pathway, just from high school to college to nursing school to graduating nursing school. I'm honestly super grateful for that. And even though things didn't work out the way that I thought they would post-graduation, I'm really grateful for the experience and for just finally getting to this point where I can celebrate, because I am officially a licensed nurse, and I will be working in the hospital very soon, and I will get back to all the things that I fell in love with like during nursing school. So I didn't think I was gonna get emotional, but I want to be really real with you guys and just let y'all know that sometimes things may not go as planned, but you know, always keep your faith and always try to uplift yourself. I'm so happy, so fortunate to have passed my Nclex the very first time and to not have that stress anymore. It just all feels like a blur at this point now. And it's only Friday. I took my exam Monday. It's only Friday, but it just feels like a blur. And I don't know what to say besides like I'm so happy that it's over and I can start working again. And coming out with this story time for you guys, which a lot of you guys voted on my Instagram for this story time. If you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you do, so that you can interact with me and participate when I have polls on, you know, what you guys want to see next. To close this video, I wanted to let you guys know that I will be coming out with a nursing series here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be diving into everything formally about nursing and nursing school through my YouTube video, and I'm just going to provide you guys with an abundance of information, things just like how to get into nursing school, how to prepare for nursing school, how to get through nursing school, what to do post-graduation. And I don't think y'all want a how to prepare for Nclex from me, so I'm not even going to throw that one in there. I'm not the one to listen to on that. But I will be doing a nursing series just to help anybody that may be interested or may be going through nursing school and just need some guidance. So yeah, be on the lookout for my nursing series. It will be coming very soon. There's still some logistics about it that I'm working out as of right now, but it will be coming very, very soon. If you are a nursing student, or you're interested in nursing, or you know of anyone who's a nursing student or interested in nursing, please recommend my channel to them, because I will be coming out with information that will be very useful for that community. If you guys enjoyed my story time, please give this video a thumbs up. Please comment below. Let me know any of your thoughts, and so that I can interact and engage with you guys. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, please do, so that you can keep up with me, and I will see you guys again next Monday.